Started. We're going to shuffle the agenda a little bit. The Brookshire Economic Development Corporation will hold a special meeting on Monday, September 26, 2022 at 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers of the City of Brookshire, located at 4029 5th Street, Brookshire, Texas 77423. First agenda item is prayer, pledge to the U.S. flag, and pledge to the Texas flag. Is there anybody who'd like to give a prayer? If not, let's just do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, pledge the U.S. flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Thank you all. Ms. Casto, if you'll do the roll call, please.
President Jeremiah Hill,
Present.
Vice President Kathy Guy, Secretary Mary Ellen Aguilar,
Present.
Director Glenn Mayberry, Director Quotacious Dunn, Director Suzette Baines,
Here.
Director Amanda Newendorf.
Present.
You have a quorum, President.
All righty. Moving on, agenda item number 3, public comments. I have none on the sign-in list. I think all of y'all are for specific agenda items. So with that, we'll move into agenda item number 4, discussion and possible action bid from All Play Inc. for Bostic Park. Mr. John Cole is here, and I'll let him present.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Getting older.
Thanks, sir.
Extra pen.
I do? Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Floor is yours.
All right, so these, what the packets that you were provided do match the ones that were in the presentation that you'll see. This is a renovation to Bostic Park. So it has a grand strand linked to a kid builder large slide with some arch swings. Then over on the existing pad that you'll see in the kind of the top left, it's just adding a table over there along with some musical instruments and a game table for the little one. Then the kid builder unit, which is our 5-inch post, and 48-inch deck unit over there on the top left. So if you look at the presentations provided on the third page, just gives a little bit closer view of the units. And then on the next page has a 2D view providing the individual components in a little bit more detail from a structure standpoint. The pavilion is existing, the basketball court is existing, and the parking area is to be constructed.
Correct.
The not shown on the 3D renderings are the exercise equipment. I'm gonna go into that in a little bit because it's getting the same or similar setups at both parks.
Correct.
Any questions on Bostic?
Any questions?
This is including the area that's behind the current
Yes, so this would
park
encompass,
space.
Correct.
Okay,
The other space that was purchased that's not
Correct.
been enclosed before.
okay.
So effectively, if you see right now,
How big is that space?
The parking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you see right now where this basketball goal is, the existing fence line runs like this. So I mean, basically you're doubling the width, if you
Yeah.
want to call it that. I don't have approximates. But essentially, this is going to kind of follow an L shape, like this. And then where that little kind of gravel-looking pad is right there, that's where the exercise equipment would be considered. This pad that's listed here would be the off-road parking that's going to be added.
So the current basketball, like if you look at, what page this is, the 2D version, the basketball court, this is where the fence currently sits, or it goes this way?
That way.
This way?
Yep.
So the parking area would be off of, is that First Street?
Wait, sorry. Left to right based on what we're showing right here. So you got your basketball court right there.
Yes.
It follows
The fence
this line.
goes this way. Okay, so the
Yep.
parking area would be off of, is that First Street or?
Yes, that'll be on First Street.
Okay. I was just trying to get my bearings as to which direction.
Yep.
Because there's residences over here, so that would help
Correct.
get the cars away from, hopefully away from them a little
Yeah,
bit.
First Street's essentially top to bottom on your right-hand side of the page.
Okay. And like where the 2 to 5-year-old area kid builder structure, that text is where that handicap ramp goes out to the street?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So the two areas, kind of the kid builder area up there is for the little ones. Everything's low, climbers are easier, slides are easier. And then the area that's in the corner is kind of an all age group. And then you transition to the older kids with the grand strand, which is taller.
Mhm.
And the parking is going to be where?
Right here.
You see where the
off of First
basketball
Street.
goal is? Up there, to the right of that.
Right here, see?
So right now, this is First Street right here, and I don't remember the name of this one. There's a basketball court, and there's a fence right now that goes this way.
Auto.
Auto. So all of this would be new. And then the parking over here off of First Street. So like that gray box to the right of the basketball court right now.
Do you know where, Indy Dilworth's house is? Basically, we own that property from his, actually 3 feet into his house, up to the existing Bostic Park. And so it's just never been enclosed. It's just been left as half the size. So the new fencing would be encompassing that entire thing. We're obviously gonna have to do some sort of setback off their house.
So
Cause
that
obviously
parking would be between their house and.
their house and the
okay.
existing basketball
Gotcha.
goal that's there.
That's gonna be through a ditch? There's a ditch there, right?
Yeah, they'll have to put a culvert in the ditch. Public Works will be handling that.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a smallerish parking lot, maybe 4 to 8 cars. We're still waiting on the final survey. But at least to get some of that traffic off the street,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
At least some of it.
because that is a complaint of some of the neighbors, is that we're having people park all along Auto Street.
Definitely.
So it'll kind of alleviate some of that.
Good.
All right. We'll move on to Lowenbach. Sure.
All right, so Williambaugh is a little bit larger. You can see in the packet, not really a street view, but just kind of a little bit of an angle view. So you can see on the far right or top right up on the unit, it's a kid builder unit linked to a GSX, which is a larger version of the Grand Strand. It's still a modern style to where the kids look at it, don't know exactly what to do, geared toward the bigger kids. Then in the middle there, that is a ramp that is to a, what we call a together glider. So it has a wheelchair access, sways back and forth, kids can play together, so wheelchairs getting on it at the same time. In the back, we have the arch swing, which has another accessible swing seat, 3 belt seats, and 2 top seats. And then on this far left is the younger area. It's the 2 to 5-year-old area with multiple slides, crawl tunnel, climbers that are geared toward the little ones. 2 spring riders, a bumblebee and a grasshopper spring rider. And then the green circular is a revolution spinner, which is a modern day version of a merry-go-round. Kind of hard to see, but to the right of the swings, there's a blue dot up there. It's a solo spinner.
Spinny chairs.
All about getting dizzy. So the couple different angles in the packet give you an idea, and then
What we need.
the top view, of course, gives a little bit more description for y'all with the different climbers that are incorporated into the main structure and the other components. Any
Okay.
questions regarding the playground on?
Yeah, I do have a question. So, on both of these parks, how often will we have to replenish the kiddie cushion? And do you know what our average maintenance cost might be to keep the standard on that?
Going to be completely determined on how much use they get.
Okay.
And let's say a park at Herman Park where kids are constantly going in there, they supplement that maybe every 6 months. Whereas a church may only supplement their kiddie cushion every 2 years, 2.5 years or so. So it's very much dependent upon how much use you get. The good thing about both locations, you have good access for getting that equipment, getting that material in.
Okay, and then on this, the square footage here that you gave us, this is what we would need to account for every time, okay.
Now, just so the board's aware, once we redo these parks, we're transitioning maintenance back over to the city.
Okay.
So we're trying to get out of the EDC funding all these parks
That's great.
projects.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
Uh,
Let's get them done and then.
And this is just more of a comment. So I'm actually familiar with this company. I used to work for Native Land Design, and we contracted you guys before for a couple of projects. So it was done on time, and the product was done. It was a very good experience. So I can personally say I've worked with this company before,
Good.
many years ago.
There you go. Okay. You want to talk about the outdoor equipment? I don't have a slide for that one, but go ahead.
In your packet, you'll see fitness equipment. This is going, and I probably should have put them separately, but if you see the one
No.
that has the layout, like this right here.
Yes.
So the long bar is on the left, because those are two separate areas there. We have one Apollo and two of the Everest. And then Boston will have one of each. And then the previous page to that just gives a little bit different, better views from all sides. So with the Apollo, it's incorporated that 5 users can use it at one time. The Everest is your cardio. So you get the full actual workout. These are like the units that you would find at a gym indoors, but we're able to put them
Made for outdoors.
And so, like I said, it incorporates 5 users with 19 different exercises on there. There's QR codes that somebody can scan and see the actual exercises that they want, or how to do the exercises. So it gives actual instruction. And you see the little logo there at the top, real exercise, real results. Oftentimes, the machines that have the hydraulics or simply body weight aren't used. And this equipment is actually started out, their best customer is the prison system. And so they get used 365 days a year, minimum of 12 hours a day, and they hold up extremely well. That's why we haven't had a fitness equipment line for all play, because it didn't have the longevity and the durability that we expect out of our equipment. So like I said, the exercise comes from the Apollo, weight training basically, and even the ones that, this has a lift assist on it. So if you can't do a pull-up like me, you can work your way up.
No shame.
Get the assist, work your way up, minimize the assist at the end, and then do pull-ups on your own. The Everest is for the cardio. It's like stair stepping. You're gonna go to the stadium and do the stairs. This is the same thing. So the two of those combined gives a great workout. The 2 pages, if you want a little bit more detail on each of them, the Apollo and Everest there on the last 2 pages. And then Mighty Coat is for the benches and tables at both locations. 3 tables at Bostic and 2 benches, I believe, or 4 benches. benches at Bostic, three tables at Bostic, and then, 4 tables at the other one, and 7 benches included. That one. And warranties are the last few pages, just so we don't have those.
Okay. Any other questions, board?
Anything about the colors that y'all don't prefer? We do have colors in there.
I like the colors.
I like the bright colors.
Yeah, nice and bright, multicolored.
Yeah.
Yes, bright and multicolored.
All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion on item number 4 for Bostic Park.
Are you doing them separately or?
Yes, separately.
I move to approve the bid from All Play Inc. for Bostic Park.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The all-play bid for Lowenball Park. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the bid from All Play Inc. for Longenball Park.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. If you'll wait around, I'll sign whatever paperwork you need there. With that, we're going to turn it over to Craftsman to discuss the amphitheater. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Look at that.
All right, you've got the floor.
So inside the packet, you will find the renderings and the top-down view of the amphitheater. This is our RCP manufactured wave band shell amphitheater. We have it placed right at the lot across the street. Beautiful location. And we've got our ADA ramps, our step-up ramps. We've designed it with a backstage area for easy access. In the back, you'll also find an electrical box where we'll have room to store electrical equipment and house all of your electricity there. We do have elongated can lightings up at the top, a raised stage, and then a dance floor area for the community at the bottom.
That's all bad.
Now, I don't see in the renderings, but there was going to be 2 floodlights on the front pillars,
Yes.
correct? Okay. That way it lights up when it's in use. You kind of have that area
Okay.
lit.
So it makes it very well lit there.
Okay.
I don't, there's electrical outlets on most of the pieces, or?
There'll be electrical across the front of the front wall, the concrete walls there, so
Uh-huh.
the partition that goes across back. And you notice it's partitioned so you can walk behind it, so it's kind of like in and out of the, and then there's actual electrical plugs on the back side of the wall, but the majority of them are across the front, so bands can come up and plug in their equipment, so you can get extra. There is no, audio-visual equipment to it.
Right.
We can talk about adding, some runs to do any future stuff, but I really envision this as more of like the local band comes up, plugs their own equipment and sets it up. That's what this is set up for. But the aluminum box that's in the far back corner there on the left back of the amphitheater itself, that's the electrical enclosure.
Kind of behind there.
And so inside that, there's actually gonna be a panel for all the electrical breakers and whatnot.
Okay.
And then inside will be several plugs that are gonna be, and all those switches for all the lighting, so you guys can lock that up at night. Nobody can get in here, we'll turn the lights on.
Okay. And are the outlets all like 3-pronged for?
Yes,
Okay,
all GFCI,
okay,
so everything here is made for wet condition.
okay. Great.
Structures, it's all Southern Yellow Pine blue laminated beams, beautiful structure. It's all pre-stained at the factory, powder coated columns that go up with it. They sit on 3-foot elevated concrete pedestals, somewhere around 28 feet or something.
Oh, wow.
From the bottom to the top, it's gonna be a facing structure. Something you guys can be real proud of.
Is there any option for, or is there a screen that could potentially come out if we wanted to do outdoor
I would
movies or
suggest
projection?
you guys get with an audio visual.
Okay.
They can put that equipment to it,
Okay.
but it's really not our specialty.
Okay.
We work equipment, so.
That's fine, okay. And then, is there anything that shows how the elevation of the property would potentially change? I mean, like, I guess the topography of the property, not elevation, it's not a,
It was did you know how that piece sits there? So what's actually being done is it's back in the back against, so we're looking about center line property here, so
Mhm.
it's between the street and the restroom facility. I think
Mhm.
that's what and then we're actually coming in, we're gonna burn the back side of it.
that's what I was wondering,
Yeah,
okay.
So
So that you could have stadium-style lawn seating,
No, not on the front. So that's just on the back side. So we're talking about the berm is gonna be along the outside of the rear, and we're doing that for 88, so we don't have
The
lifts
the
that
ramp.
could fall off of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
sides. The front side out here, there's nothing in that to do any kind of berm work out in
Okay.
the front edge.
okay.
With all the dirt work for around the pad itself, across the front of
The lot itself isn't really deep enough for it, I guess.
the dance floor, so all that dirt is included in there.
Okay.
You'll actually get construction plans and engineered plans. There's a lot that's beyond just a couple of pictures here. But it includes all engineering stamps for electrical, civil, all that taken care of. All the slab work will be all, engineered.
For the spectator area, is there a specific reason for the width being 22.75? It was just,
Yeah, I think there was a certain square footage that was asked to bring it down.
okay.
Yeah.
We had something initially done that was more of a,
Larger,
much larger,
like, rounded area.
looked more like a teardrop, large
Yeah.
teardrop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The size can be adjusted square footage. You
Yeah.
can bring it narrower or go
I
wider.
do think might be a little narrow. It's really wide, maybe a little narrow, and that's just my opinion. I think the structure itself, I think, looks really great.
Mhm.
It's just the spectator area. 22 feet is not that wide.
What are we referring to?
The spectator
concrete
area
pad.
where people would be standing.
Be standing
So the
there.
concrete there is only 22
Proposed
feet
was
wide. It's 78 feet long, but it's only 22 feet out.
But we can always add on.
We can always add on later.
That's what I'm
How much,
saying.
I guess I would wanna know from the property though, how much grass is in front of that, because if you had, for say, a band, you had people that were sitting on the lawn, and that would really be not just spectator area, but like more dance floor,
Did we,
potentially.
is the total site plan available with the actual? I thought I saw it in the packet.
But I'm
So this faces the street?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll back up within a certain setback of the other properties that are over there,
Okay.
facing City Hall.
Like if you turn around and looked right now, it would be facing this way.
It faces us.
Correct.
Like
There's
along Fifth Street,
Mm-hmm.
right in the center of the property facing this way.
Yep.
So it's the long skinny version of the property, maybe that's why the long skinny version of the spectator area.
Mhm.
But there's gonna be a certain amount of lawn this direction,
Mm-hmm.
so,
The other equation would be for certain events, we'd block off the streets as well.
mm-hmm.
So you'd have even more space moving back
Oh,
this
okay.
direction.
I mean, the spectator area could even be reserved for like handicap accessibility, and everybody else can bring a lawn chair or whatever,
Yeah.
dependent upon the event.
Well, I think it looks really nice. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Anyone else?
Real nice. I like it.
Alrighty. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to accept the bid from Craftsman for the amphitheater.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alrighty, thank you. If y'all wait around, I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. Mr. Stokes.
Familiar face. Hi.
So I've asked Mr. Stokes, let me give a preface to this because we hadn't discussed signage too much, to put together some signage options for us for our parks. Obviously, while we're redoing those, this amphitheater square, our plaza area. This is kind of what he's come up with, and I'll let him walk through it, what he is proposing.
Okay, so, based upon the City of Brookshire logo that Mr. Hill sent over, we kind of pulled those same colors to try to tie all the parks together. The new plaza that is proposed, bringing that together, the EDC, building signage and everything to try to tie Brookshire in as a whole instead of having a little pocket park over here that looks different than the other park and so on and so on. So we made the more of your traditional pressure treated painted wood signs that you find in parks typically. We also put together the 6-inch square tubing, which is a steel, painted steel square tubing that's kind of like a boundary marker, a little bit more modern, without going totally, wooden that can warp and so on. So those on Long and Ball are on the corner. So the corner post would be your 10-foot high markers, basically. Long and Ball also has the post mounts, which are your traditional information signage, where we had talked about having to clearly put out rules and regulations and park times and all of that kind of stuff. So it's very well put out there of what's expected, what you can and cannot do in these parks. So nobody should have a reason to say I didn't know. So you can see the yellow stars. There's one on each of the 4 straights. The red, the 3 corner posts on Long and Ball, and then the 1 main entrance sign there at Long and Ball. And same thing with Bostic. Now, obviously, Bostic's going to change a little bit more than Long and Ball will. So the size and the graphic up there at the top will change a little bit more, but it's still the same kind of thing. Since they have a fence, we can do fence mounted instead of having them on a post. Same basic concept though, with the 6-inch square tubings and the main entrance wooden sign for those 2. It was also establishing the PMS colors so that as Brookshire continues to do more things, we can try to keep it consistent and not have a department go off and do their own thing and so on.
Different shades of blue.
Yeah. So those, we established those and tried to keep them as consistent going forward as possible.
Just help branding.
Right.
Hovis. Hovis is very spread out. There used to be a sign, I think it's gone now.
It is.
It may have fallen over out here by the highway. That was the Welcome to Hovis park. So that is being proposed to put that out on the main road as well as having your traditional main entrance one, and then marking your 2 property lines and 1 at each field to, you can potentially put the field name on there. You can just put City of Hovis, City of Brookshire with Hovis Park on there if you like. It really doesn't matter to us. It's what the city wants from their updated park. And then EDC and the amphitheater, and that's where I guess this showed a little bit more from where the amphitheater being pushed back.
If we
and
sit
how
back
much
here.
room you have. So if this is your amphitheater here, you're probably back there, which is quite a bit of, seating space. So-
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm glad we're here to help. So your traditional main entrance sign, your corner post marking, here's the plaza boundaries, so to speak. Yeah. Imagine if you will. So, yeah, so You know, the back of the berm is, I would assume, is close to the
Yeah,
back
the
seat
boundary.
for trucks for unloading equipment and all that. So you're gonna have quite a bit of room here to sit or, you know,
I'm a visual
lawn or
person.
dance or whatever people do when they go to amphitheater.
They cut a rug, Seth, they cut a rug.
And then it was discussed as putting some kind of EDC signage when that building is converted to a EDC office. So at this point, it is similar to the city of the wooden signs. We may scale that down a little bit because those may be quite substantial for the for the parks. They're rather large. That probably wouldn't look very good in the front. And that can always be modified down or
For the EDC you're talking about?
for the EDC.
For the
building,
EDC,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So that is where we're at this point.
Could we go back a slide and look at Hovis Park for a second? So
Absolutely.
the 3 baseball fields that are currently there, do we know if there's any truth to there potentially being a T-ball field behind a fence in that wooded area?
In the drone footage I've done, I don't see one.
Okay,
And I don't know the true boundaries of that property.
Over in here.
yeah.
Yeah, supposedly there's one over there.
There was a conversation that was had with a
I grew up in that area. There's nothing back
youth
there.
sports organization.
Trust me.
I mean,
Yeah.
Hovis Park has a property line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a conversation that was had with a youth organization that claimed that there was
Yeah.
another field behind that fence. And I didn't know whether or not,
I think the only thing they could do is try to subdivide it, but you couldn't use simultaneously. I mean, I just don't see the space there, but.
no,
could be
it was
wrong.
like behind, like in those trees.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's another property.
Okay, I just wanted to,
Pretty sure.
Don't plant in trees like that.
I just wanted to clarify.
No, I'm pretty sure that's another
I'm out
property.
with ticks.
So
I
the
grew up
idea
in
was
those
cleaning
trees.
up, you know, the
I grew up back there, literally.
Make it look more consistent, more clean for the city.
Okay.
Any questions? The corner posts for your square tubings are all steel, so kids are gonna try to run around them and all that, they're, I think, 4-inch thick.
I was gonna ask what gauge of steel is it?
Yeah.
No.
If somebody hits it with a truck, it ain't going nowhere.
But if they hit it with a truck, 1/4-inch steel is gonna,
It's still, yeah, it's gonna hit back.
it's gonna hit back real hard.
So those are there, you know, the wooden signs are 4x4, so that's 4x8 on the two sides, so kids can actually hang from that. I wouldn't recommend it,
All right.
but kids are gonna do things that, a very similar sign has been at the Addison, City Park for 5-6 years now. And it's still standing, everything's fine. Any other questions? You'd rather have lime green and black, or?
No, I like
We can name it Dunn Park if you like.
It comes with a naming fee.
Yeah. I was just about to say, money
Oh.
behind
To
it.
help offset the cost.
I will get the invoice ready. All right.
So nice
Any
of
other
you.
questions or comments? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I will, but I don't have my paper in front of me. What is it? I motion to
Accept the bid from
accept the
Launchcraft.
bid for multiple sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that, it passes. All righty. Agenda item number 8, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Amanda.